Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to No Game Scheduled, the show where we talk about sports even when there are no games scheduled. And I've been trying to get back into these solo videos, these one-on-ones for a while now. The Connor Bedard video did really great. The Klay Thompson to the Mavs video did really great. I wonder how they're doing. And I've really wanted to get back to this more intimate setting where I can really go further into a video, edit it down a little bit more, add some clips, add some context, and also just make it a little bit more enjoyable for you as the audience rather than just listening to our whole shows. We will still be doing the podcasting and clips from the show, but we're also going to start integrating these videos once again, which brings us to today's video. It's March, which means it's the only time of year people care about college basketball because it's March Madness. People love March Madness for a variety of reasons. Maybe your alma mater or favorite team is on a run to the national championship and you want to see them win. Maybe you know nothing about basketball and you are in a neighborhood pool, and instead of making your own bracket to put into the pool, you decide to use a buddy's, and you and your buddy's brackets do absolutely terrible, and instead of taking accountability, you blame your friend for doing so poorly in the pool. Or maybe you're a fan of the NBA and you're trying to see the up-and-coming talent into your league, and you're trying to maybe see who's the next big thing or who's the next big guy. And that brings us to today's video. We're talking about guys who made a name for themselves in March Madness. Quick disclaimer, there's a difference between March Madness legends and NBA legends who played in March Madness. Today, we're looking for guys who had such an outstanding run in March Madness that their draft stock went through the roof, or maybe they weren't going to be drafted at all, but that one moment come late March really elevated them to make it to the pros. So guys like Doug Eddert, Jack Golke, or Ali Farokhmanesh, all great March Madness players, but that's not really what we're looking for here in this list today. So without further ado, let's get things started. We're going to start off with two honorable mentions, and that is Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Prior to the 1979 national tournament, both of these guys were already pretty popular. Bird was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in '77. In '78, as a freshman, Magic was named first team Big Ten and second team All-American. The following year, he was kind of the consensus best player in the country. A part of their history most people forget about is how the two of them were actually teammates in the 1978 World Invitational for the United States. They played great together. At this point, there was no rivalry between the two. Then came the 1979 National Championship, which saw the Michigan State Spartans with Magic Johnson versus the Indiana State Sycamores and Larry Bird. Larry Bird refused to shake Magic Johnson's hand. Magic went up to him, "Hey, we're teammates. How you doing?" Exchange pleasantries before a match. But Larry Bird, we all know, had that competitive fire and refused to shake Magic's hand, and that's really where the rivalry began. Michigan State went on to win, but this game started the rivalry between Bird and Magic, which reignited the rivalry between the Lakers and Celtics. And in the 80s, it was kind of the saving grace of the NBA at the time. A lot of people consider if Larry Bird and Magic Johnson hadn't given the NBA that spark in the 80s, the NBA would have gone out of business. I wanted to give them an honorable mention because without them, I probably wouldn't even be making this video because there would be no NBA to talk about, to move on from March Madness. So I'm a huge fan of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, what they did for the game and just their rivalry. There's really not been anything since then. But let's move on to the actual list here. Now, you saw the thumbnail, so we're going to get this one right out of the way, and that is Steph Curry. Now, you've heard everyone say it. Steph Curry was an undersized, unrecruited, guard that went to a non-Power 5 school. So when the 10th seed Davidson Wildcats match up against the 7th seed Gonzaga Bulldogs, everyone thought this was just going to be another no-name school that gets into the tournament. At half, Georgia was up 82-76, but luckily for Davidson, Steph Curry dropped 30 in the second half alone. He finished off the game with 40 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 steals. This included 8 threes on 10 attempts. The next game, Steph Curry dropped 35-5 with 3 steals on 2-seeded Georgetown. Then against 3-seeded, top-rated defense in the country, Wisconsin, in front of his to-be career rival, LeBron James, he dropped 33 with 6 threes. The journey eventually came to an end against Kansas, where he dropped 25 points. He only shot 4 for 16 from the 3, so they were in this game, and if Steph Curry shoots a little bit better, maybe it's a different situation. But it's without a doubt the 2008 tournament put Steph Curry on the map for NBA franchises. He did play another year after this tournament. I think a lot of people forget about that. But 4 NBA championships, a unanimous league MVP, gold medal, all-time leading three-point shooter. It all started in 2008 during March. Quick side note here, I don't think people realize how close we were to seeing a Steph Curry versus Derrick Rose matchup in the Final Four. That matchup would have fed families for generations. Next is Bryce Drew. You know, I had to show some love to Northwest Indiana here. Bryce Drew was playing for his dad at Valparaiso at a super small D1 school off of Route 30 in 1998. They went to the tournament as the 13th seed and faced off against Ole Miss in the first round. And after a close game, Drew took what is known today as the shot. Real creative there, guys, to hit a buzzer beater 3 to send Valpo to the second round. The shot made Drew a national sensation, and he was then drafted in 1998 by the Houston Rockets with the 16th overall pick. Drew is now the head coach of Grand Canyon University. Bryce Drew's a pretty big deal where I'm from. Northwest Indiana creates a lot of NBA talent, and so anytime a kid can play for Valpo High School, go to Valpo College, and then he ended up playing for the Bulls, which is our team here. We're not really Pacers fans. It's a good story to hear, and a lot of people respect Bryce Drew in my area. Kemba Walker. Cardiac Kemba is far and away my favorite March Madness player of all time. Not only did he have a great national tournament, but he really started to grab the attention in the Big East tournament. At the start of their conference tournament, UConn was ranked 21st in the country. Then they won 5 games in 5 days, with the quarterfinal match being capped off with one of the greatest step-back jumpers of all time by Walker to beat Pittsburgh. They defeated Arizona in the Elite Eight, which, by the way, we were robbed of another all-time great matchup. If Duke beat Arizona the round prior, we would have gotten to see Kemba Walker versus Kyrie Irving. Another good matchup we would have loved to see. They beat Kentucky in the Final Four, a team which included both DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall. It's the guy who dances. Then they defeated Butler in the national championship game. Walker's performance in the Big East in March Madness gave him a massive boost in draft stock, and he was taken 9th overall to the Charlotte Bobcats. That's the Hornets now. Speaking of Butler, Gordon Hayward. Hayward was kind of a run-of-the-mill forward at the time leading up into the tournament, and even during the tournament as well. The most he ever scored in Butler's run was 22 points against Kansas State. He was a very good wing defender, though. That was kind of the standout reason why Butler made it so far this year. They were a really good defensive team. I mean, they were coached by Brad Stevens. Any team coached by Brad Stevens is going to be a good defensive team. But Hayward's buzzer beater attempt, which nearly went in for some reason, made a lot of NBA scouts have eyes on him. He was the 9th overall pick in the 2010 draft to the Utah Jazz. I feel bad for Gordon Hayward because his career is kind of remembered for what he didn't do or the injury that he had. Everyone remembers Gordon Hayward as that guy who missed the shot against Duke that would have sent him to the national championship. And a lot of people remember him for probably having one of the most, not even the most, but like the worst on-camera injury in a sporting event that's ever been captured. If you've never seen it, I mean, go ahead and watch it because it's actually, visually it's not that bad, but don't turn the sound on. Gordon Hayward's injury, I don't think visually is that bad. It's just a broken leg. You don't see any bone. You don't see any blood. Obviously, the leg's at an odd angle, but the sound it makes when it happens, it's hard to even talk about. The fact Gordon Hayward actually came back and played after that too, massive props to him. Donte DiVincenzo. You could really put all the Nova boys on this list, but realistically, Donte stands out the most. He was just a role player on a Villanova team that had Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges as the headliners, but it wasn't until the national championship game against Michigan, a team which included Jordan Poole, Duncan Robinson, and Mo Wagner, where DiVincenzo off the bench dropped 35-5-3 with 2 blocks. This did a great service to his draft stock as it's gone down as one of the greatest performances in a national championship game ever. DiVincenzo was drafted 17th overall in the 2018 draft by the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was a key contributor to that Bucks championship run in 2021. Donte DiVincenzo, I'm pretty sure, is my brother-in-law's favorite player. because Italian. Bo Kimble. The story around Bo Kimble is a sad one. In the 1990 West Coast Conference Tournament, Loyola Marymount senior and projected NBA lottery pick Hank Gathers suffered a cardiac episode and died on the court. The WCC canceled the rest of the tournament and gave Loyola Marymount the NCAA bid due to the fact they had won the regular season championship. With the world aware of the story and all the eyes on Loyola Marymount, Kimble led the team to an Elite Eight appearance, scoring 45 points in the first round to defeat Michigan. The increased attention on Loyola Marymount combined with Kimble's elite play moved him up to the 8th overall pick in the 1990 NBA draft by the LA Clippers. Carmelo Anthony. Let me put a slight asterisk on this one. Carmelo Anthony was going to get drafted. He was one of, if not the best freshmen in the country during this time, but his performance during the 2003 national tournament to bring Syracuse its first title increased his popularity tenfold. I mean, hands down. He continuously ramped up his scoring as the tournament went on, dropping 33 points against Texas in the Final Four and closing out the tournament with 20 points against Kansas. He finished the tournament averaging 20 points, just under 10 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. He shot nearly 50% from the field and beyond the arc. A lot of people debate how much of an impact this had on his draft stock. Like I said, he was going to get drafted. First things first, he was not going number one. If you don't know who was drafted number one in the 2003 NBA draft, why are you watching this video?
You hear me? Hit the rollie, start with the rollie on.
However, in 2003, you had guys like Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade who were going to get drafted, and they were definitely going to be lottery picks, and they were considered better all-around players. Yeah, sure, Carmelo Anthony's a great scorer, but when was the last time you heard anybody talk about Carmelo Anthony's defense? There's no denying that Carmelo Anthony was probably going to be a lottery pick, but the point of this video is to show who got moved up because of March Madness, and Melo definitely did. I've seen a lot of reports and a lot of things that said Dwayne Wade was probably going to get drafted higher than him, but his run with Syracuse boosted him up. Lastly is Ja Morant, another NBA star who went to a non-Power 5 school and did not have much notoriety attached to his name. Murray State, what's Murray State's mascot's name? The Racers. The Racers made it to the 2019 NCAA tournament and were matched up against 5th seed Marquette, where Morant dropped a 17-point, 11 rebound, 16 assist triple-double to advance to the second round, where they lost to Florida State. This was only the 9th triple-double and the 8th player to ever do it. The previous 2 triple-doubles were by Draymond Green, if you can believe that. Morant decided to leave college early and declare for the draft, where he was drafted 2nd overall by the Memphis Grizzlies and was named Rookie of the Year. I'm sure the 2019 draft class is doing so well right now. I'm sure they've been playing so many games and have not been sitting out for a variety of reasons. Which leads us into something new we're going to start doing here with the new shortened videos and more detailed videos coming back here. We're going to start doing trivia at the end of each video here. So there's going to be a trivia question. The first person to go down to the comments and give the right answer, they'll get shouted out in the next video. So something fun to do to play along. Your trivia question for this video is, of the 2019 draft class, which player has played the most games? So go down to the comments, let us know who you think it is, and if you get it right, I'll shout you out in the next video. The beauty of March Madness is, everyone loves that Cinderella story aspect, but also just not only the Cinderella, but the more individual standpoint of it, the underdog, the person who isn't really meant to be there, who might not be going anywhere after this, but so they're going to give it their all. And because they do give it their all, they actually end up going further places because of that. That's the beauty of March Madness. We really haven't seen it too much this year. I think the teams are really good, and the talent who's supposed to be great has been great. And so I don't think this year you're going to see many guys go into the draft because of a great performance that they have. I mean, the only guy that maybe comes to mind is Con Knippel from Duke, but I'm pretty sure that guy was going to be a lottery pick anyway. So this is just a fun video to get out there to let everybody know that we're back to doing the solo videos, the more edited stuff. You guys seem to really enjoy it, and trust me, I really appreciate all the love and support you guys give to these videos, but also just to feed that hunger of March Madness one more time before it ends after this weekend. The Final Four is set: Florida, Auburn, Duke, Houston, and we'll see what happens in the national championship come Monday. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you go answer the trivia question. I want to see what many people think, if anyone gets the right answers. But outside of that, have a good rest of your day.
At midcourt, extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole! A freshman has